Hey guys, it's a new year and it's a really great time to turn that your passion for fashion into a profitable venture. So if you are one of those people who have numerous sketch pads filled with fashion sketches and you're clueless about how to take your drawings from sketch pads to clothing hangers and even convert that to money in your bank account, then this video is for you. You need to stick around. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step guide on how to get your designs manufactured and produced without any sewing skills or sewing machines or sewing experience whatsoever. So first off, a bit of introduction. My name is Umo. I'm a fashion entrepreneur and I am a professional pattern drafter. And this is University of Pattern Drafting. If this is your first time stopping by, you are really welcome and I would appreciate if you can just subscribe. So on to the meat of the matter, guys. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to translate your sleek, high quality fashion sketches into pieces of clothing without any form of sewing skills. This doesn't just apply to only people in Nigeria, but if you are in Nigeria, I think you would be able to relate better with what I am going to be talking about. So the first step, guys, is to write out a business plan. So the first step, guys, is to write out your business plan. Like the Bible says that a wise person is one who, before he embarks on any venture, he stops first to count the cost. Guys, this business plan would really help you count your cost because you really need to know what you're getting into. You need to decipher your target audience. You need to decipher the appropriate price points that your garments or your clothes are going to sit on. You need to even know your budget for fabrics and accessories. You need to know how many clothes you're going to be able to make with the amount of funds that you have available to you at that point in time. So guys, writing a business plan is so important. So I think that in subsequently I'm going to do a video on how to write a proper business plan for your ready-to-wear line or for your clothing line or your collection or whatever it is you are trying to do. So the first step is, guys, you need to get a business plan. This is so important. And if you want to find out more about how to get a business plan, if you want to write a business plan for your clothing line, then you need to subscribe and then hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I put up that video, guys. Okay, so the next thing, guys, is obviously you need to get a brand name. So this is so important. You need to get a brand name, then you need to get cloth tags, you need to have a logo, you need to have size tags, you need to have packaging nylons, like you need to get those basic things, up and running. These things are really important. Like, sort yourself out first. Do you understand? So step 2, guys, the next step is to consult with a pattern drafter. Guys, notice that I said consult. Like, this is so important. You can't just like breeze past this stage. It is like your pattern drafter or your pattern maker is essentially your most professional partner on this journey. Do you understand? So it is so important that you consult a professional pattern drafter. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, I am a professional pattern drafter and I have held the hands of a couple of fashion or creative enthusiasts or fashion enthusiasts in releasing their collection or starting out their clothing line, and I've worked with a couple of brands, a couple of fashion brands, drafted patterns for them, and helped them through this process of starting their ready-to-wear line or releasing their collection or just launching their clothing lines generally. So as I mentioned earlier, consult with a pattern drafter. I'm going to be looking down a lot because I have written a couple of notes and I don't want to forget a couple of things that I've written out. Okay, so as a novice, your pattern maker, as I mentioned earlier, is essentially your best professional partner on this journey. So you really need to do yourself the favor of hiring a professional and experienced pattern maker, a pattern maker that is also experienced in garment construction. So essentially, in consulting with your pattern maker, certain issues have to be discussed at length. Number one, you need to discuss your designs, because as a fashion enthusiast or just a creative person who is a novice, or who has no sewing skills or garment construction skills or whatsoever, you can just have this really highfalutin creative ideas and just outfits that you want to make or you want to create, and all that, and some of them might not be feasible. Do you understand? So the essence of consulting with this pattern drafter is to look through all of your designs and then see how feasible they are, how, so because sometimes you might, as a creative person, you might just create these really nice designs without putting into consideration how the garments will be worn. Do you understand? So if you're creating a bodycon dress from a fabric that is not stretchy without zips at the back, how would your end clients enter the garments? Do you understand? So you need the help of a pattern drafter. Where would the darts sit? How would the pockets be? Will it be lined? Do you understand? Just all of those conversations. Will it be lined? What sizing methods are you going to be employing per design? So there are two basic sizing methods. There's the numerical sizing method, and then there's the alphabetical sizing method. So the numerical sizing method is a lot more specific. So numerical means size 8, size 10, size 4, size 6, size 12, and all of that. And then the alphabetical sizing method is a lot more general, which is, your extra small, medium, large, extra large, extra large, and the rest. So you need to know which sizing method you'll be using per design. So the thing about sizing method is, okay, so for example, a top like this, do you understand? If you're going to be creating just t-shirts like this, you go with alphabetical sizing method. So small, large, medium, and all of that. But if and this is because this is, first off, this is a stretchy fabric, and then second off, this is a flowy garment. Do you understand? So whereas if you were going to be creating outfits like maybe pants, trousers, and all of that, you need to use numerical sizing methods. This is because trousers and shirts, and probably pencil skirts require a certain kind of fit, perfect fit. Do you understand? So you need to know what you're doing. Your pattern maker needs to put you through as regards that, and then knowing how many sizes to create. Do you understand? For certain designs that are probably just sort of like shift dresses, flowy garments, you don't need to create, you don't need to go with numerical sizing methods. You can go with alphabetical sizing methods, thus creating less stock, thus producing less stock. Do you understand? So you need to discuss with your pattern maker, let her know or let the individual know your budgets. Do you understand? So that you just know how to work around each design, and all of that. And then also, are you going to be lining your garments? Do you understand? For example, a t-shirt like this doesn't need to be lined. But if you are going to be making maybe corporate dresses from probably crepe fabric or certain kinds of fabric, it needs to be lined. Do you understand? And then again, what price point are your clothes going to be sitting at? Do you understand? The price point determines the amount of accessories that you can use, the amount of lining, whether or not you should even line it. If they're really cheap fabrics, just like the ones that are created, mass produced in like Yaba Market or probably Abba, do you understand? The price point is just really low. Do you understand? So they don't need to bother about lining, and all that. However, for more high-end, maybe like corporate dresses, that are going to sit on probably like a luxury price point, you need to line, you need to use quality zippers, and all that. So it just depends. And then quality accessories too, depending on what you want to do. So you need to have those sorts of discussion with your pattern maker. And then after all of those discussions, your pattern maker can now go ahead and create reusable patterns. So ensure that whatever patterns are created for you are reusable patterns, because one of the things to also ensure is that whatever patterns are given to you, you have to have clear instructions, succinct instructions on your patterns. So the thing about, one of the things that I've found out in my journey as a pattern maker for different brands, one of the things that I've learned is that because most of the times, in most cases, production is not done at my end. Do you understand? And most of the times, excuse me, I'm actually not there when production is taking place. Do you understand? So I need to ensure that instructions on the patterns are really clear, self-explanatory, and all of that. And then one of the things about drafting patterns for Nigerian brands is that you can't really go with the traditional labeling of your patterns, because most of the joiners are not skilled in interpreting patterns. Do you understand? So you have to, as much as possible, avoid using the regular pattern drafting language, and then write out your instructions in words. Really. So as I mentioned earlier, ensure that instructions are clearly written out on the pattern, so that, because in most cases, one thing I need to mention first off is, in getting a pattern maker, you need to know if your pattern maker is also going to be doubling as your sample maker. Do you understand? Because after drafting the pattern, samples have to be created. Like, this is so important. A lot of fashion houses like to skip this stage. A couple of fashion houses I've worked with like to skip this stage and then just go from pattern making. Once the patterns are handed over to them, they just go straight to production, which is completely wrong. Like, patterns have to be tested for fit. Like, it goes without saying. So you need to know if your pattern maker is going to also be your sample maker. Are they going to be creating samples for you? Do you understand? That's a different job entirely, but it's also good. It's good. One of the things I had to learn, one of the things that I had to start to do was create, also double as a sample maker. So most of the fashion houses that hire me as a pattern maker and a sample maker. So once the patterns are done, they send in the fabrics, the exact fabrics for each design. So one of the things that, do you understand? So if you are going to be, so for example, if you're creating like a flowy, like an abaya, if the style you're trying to create is an abaya, you're going to be probably working with silk fabric. Your sample has to be made from silk. Like, you have to create it with fabrics that are very similar in texture with what you are going to be using for the end product, so that you see exactly, because that's the essence of testing for fit. The essence of testing for fit is that you see exactly what, this is even the essence of testing for fit. This is the essence of not going straight from pattern drafting to production. So you need to also ensure that in getting a pattern drafter, you get a pattern drafter that also doubles as a sample maker. And this is why you need a pattern drafter that is also like excellent at garment construction. So first off, I was actually going to mention that if you need a pattern drafter for your ready-to-wear line or your clothing line, or you're trying to launch or anything, please contact me via the numbers on the screen. I think numbers are going, yeah, my number is on the screen right now, so you can contact me through the numbers on the screen and I will get back to you. Okay, so after reusable patterns have been created, the next step now is to test for fit, as I mentioned earlier. So each of the sizes, like each design, and then each size per design has to be tested on models. This is how proper clothing lines run their businesses. You have to test for fit. Like, you have to test for fit, ensure that the fit is perfect on each of the different models. Do you understand? On different sizes. So you have to ensure that fit is perfect. If there are adjustments to be made, maybe to fabric texture or to even the patterns, then this has to be communicated to, then the patterns have to be taken back to the pattern maker, and then necessary adjustments made on the pattern. It's just a pretty easy and straightforward process, or at least from my own end. Do you understand? So first off, let me just do a bit of a recap. First off, your business plan goes without saying. So first off, create a business plan. As I mentioned earlier, I'll do a video on that. And then second step is consult your pattern drafter, decide on how many designs you want, how many sizes per design, you know, what sizing method you're going for, you know, how is the garment going to be constructed, is it going to be lined, you know, what fabrics are you settling for per design. Do you understand? It's important that as a novice you get the input of your pattern maker as regards the fabrics that you're going to be using for the design, so that you don't use sturdy fabrics when the effect you're trying to create is a flowy effect. Do you understand? So you need the input of your pattern maker. So next step, create samples to test for pattern fit. Then the third step is to make the necessary adjustments to the patterns. And then the fourth step is go ahead, purchase your fabrics and your accessories, and then proceed to produce. So as regards production now, I'm going to talk about that. And there are two methods of production. So you can either mass produce, or you produce based on order or pre-order. So let me explain both. So for mass production, this just involves taking the patterns to a production house, and there are a couple of production houses in Lagos, and then in Yaba, and then in Aba. I've worked with, like, when I was selling, there was a time I wanted to sell what's it called, clothes, already made clothes, and I could draft the patterns. Obviously I could cut myself, so I drafted the patterns. I cut. The reason why I cut was I just wanted a more accurate, I wanted accuracy, because those Yaba guys, they work with speed. Like, do you understand, guys? No time. Do you understand? So they're not going to see it and then be trying to rack their head. Most of them use freehand method. Do you understand? So the essence of even a professional pattern drafter is to ensure that there is accuracy. There's accuracy in your sizing methods. There's just accuracy. So as I mentioned earlier, there are two methods of production. There's the mass production, and then there's the made on order or pre-order. Do you understand? So for the mass production, obviously you just take the patterns to a production house. There are a couple of them in Lagos, Aba, Yaba, Lagos Island too. Do you understand? And then there are a couple of like proper production houses that produce like uniforms and all that and all that. So those guys are really like, you know, like they give you more or better craftsmanship compared to like the Yaba guys, you know. And the Yaba guys too might be really good, but the Yaba guys not so good. You might need to ensure that you maybe have gotten the services of a pattern maker, so that you're sure of the sizing, you're sure of even the design that they're giving you, because sometimes, you know, some trousers are made and they are not even wearable. You know, you start to deliver to your client and everybody's saying, oh, one leg is tight, the other leg. Do you understand? So just to avoid all of those things, get a pattern drafter, you know, let them just work with the patterns, and then all they need to do is join with, you know, maybe 1 inch side seam allowance, you know, and all that and all that. So just like, you know, reduce the level of work that you're expecting from them, because they're not that diligent, in my own opinion, because I've worked with a couple of them. So you can do that. And then there are a couple of production houses. I know Matt Wayne, I know she does that. There's one in Ikate that I've worked with. I don't know if they're still functional, or, you know, so they're just a couple of production houses. And if you have a production house that produces for other brands, please drop a comment in the comment section, so that people who need your services can just reach out to you directly. Do you understand? So that is one. Or if you know, if you've worked with a production house, please let us know in the comment section, so that, you know, we can just link up with each other and help each other, and all that. So the next thing, and then one of the things I wanted to mention something. So in choosing a production house to work with, focus on two things: speed and craftsmanship. But you see, craftsmanship is more important than speed, because you need garments that you can sell at your own, at whatever price point you decide to sell it out at. And this is dependent on how neat the job is. Do you understand? Because you can go ahead and purchase expensive fabrics and all that, but if the craftsmanship is rough, if they give you like a crappy job, you are not going to be able to. Because especially if you, so I've had clients that made outfits for trade fairs, or maybe to stock in certain boutiques, and all that. Do you understand? If you are doing all that, when clients, this is especially if you're not selling online, when clients walk into your store or walk to your table at a trade fair or whatsoever, when they pick up the outfits, they are looking at the craftsmanship. How straight is the sewing? Do you understand? How is the finishing? Do you understand how you need to look out for all of those? Those things are really important. If not, you won't be able to sell at a reasonable price. Do you understand? And you'll probably be making losses. So craftsmanship is really important. Then speed is also important. Like, you need a production house that has, enough machines, staff, and all that to produce at a fast speed for you. Like, do you understand? You need to make your money fast, so you need that kind of thing. So that's two major things to look out for. And then you need to, like, whichever production house you choose to work with, please go there and see. Do you understand? Ask for samples of outfits that they've created for other brands. So ask for samples of outfits that they've created for other brands. Do you understand? Check out how neat the jobs are, and all that. And then also be sure of their electricity capacity. Be sure that they have a good source of electricity, or at least constant supply of electricity, constant source of electricity. Ensure that clothes are ironed regularly, and just as they work, just see the process of their garment construction, see how neat it is, see how efficient it is, and all that. See how they fix zips, see how their buttonholes are created, do you understand? See how they fix accessories, do you understand? Just check out how neat their job is, because it's mass production, so ain't nobody got time. Okay, so the second way that I'm going to talk about is, this made to order or pre-order, which a lot of fashion houses do. I have done that, I did that for I've done that a couple of times. Do you understand? And one of the advantages of that is that you're not tying down money. Do you understand? You're making what people are ordering for. And then you're making what people are ordering for. Do you understand? Because there are times that you've created a collection and you feel like, oh, this style is going to really sell. People are going to really like it. And that's not what people are going to go for. Do you understand? That's happened to me a couple of times. Like, this dress will really sell. But it is something else that I wasn't even expecting that sort of like blew up. Do you understand? And I had consistent orders for those ones. So this is what made to order helps you do. It just helps you focus on what is selling instead of tying down money. Do you understand? With what is not going to move. So the thing about made to order is that you can only do that if you have your own production house, because you have your own joiners or whatsoever, because you cannot just, okay, so the thing about this made to order, anyways, let me just talk a bit about how the process works. Is that when a client makes an order, delivery time is usually about 3 days. Do you understand? So whenever an order comes, you have about 3 to 5 days to get that order ready and delivered. Do you understand? Not just ready and delivered to the client. If not, it's not ready to wear again. Do you understand? Because in fact, you should even reduce it to like 0 to 3 days. Do you understand? So that it gives that feel, still has that feel of like a ready to wear brand. So because of that, you need to have, if you're operating that way, you need to have your own production facilities on ground. But seeing as I'm talking to people who don't have sewing skills, who don't have sewing machines, and all of that, I would not advise that you go for this method, because it's going to really stress you out. because each time you have another, you're going to literally be, and no production house would be willing to be taking on orders, like maybe create one of these, like, no production house would be willing to do that. They just like to do mass production because it's sort of like a waste of their time. Do you understand? So the only other option might be now to have like maybe like a tailor, maybe just like a tailor that you partner with, which is what a couple of other people do. So you just have a tailor that you partner with, and each time you have another, you just quickly go there, give them the patterns, give instructions, give them fabric, they cut, create, send back to you, and then you send to your clients. Do you understand? So that's the way that works. So work with whichever works for you, but as a novice, it just depends on how much funds is available to you. You can either do mass production, or you can choose to do made on order. Do you understand? So that's just how it works. And then made on order, you have that leeway to be able to make each outfit to the client in accordance with the client's measurements, instead of just using a standardized size chart. Do you understand? So you tend to have less adjustment issues and all that. So you just go with whatsoever works for you within your budget, or within the resources that are available to you. But if you are releasing a proper clothing line, sit down, ensure that you've settled for designs that would sell, and then just create. And when I mean mass production, actually, I don't mean, it might be like maybe 5 per size. Do you understand? Five outfits per size, and then depending on the number of designs, so it might be 5 outfits per size. So okay, so for example, if this is one of your designs, do you understand? And then you cannot decide, okay, you're going to create 5 small of this design, and 5 medium of this design. Do you understand? Do you understand? So you can even do as little as 2. Do you understand? 2 per size. So this design, 2 small, 2 medium, 2 large, 2 extra large, 2 extra large. Do you understand? So you can just decide. So when I mean mass production, I don't even mean like hundreds of thousands and all that. Do you understand? It might just be minimal. Do you understand? So you don't tie down money too much, or just depending on how much funds are available to you, or depending on what your current market size is. So after production, the next step is now to do a photo shoot. Like, do you understand? And then one of the things I want to mention is that in doing a photo shoot, ensure that you work with someone who is skilled in fashion photography. Do you understand? There are different aspects of photography. So there's wedding photography, there are portraits, and then there's fashion photography. There's just a lot of things. So work with someone who is skilled in fashion photography, because fashion photography is different from wedding photography. In fashion photography, you're trying to showcase the dress. Do you understand? Make it appealing to your potential buyers. Do you understand? So it's a different skill from trying to take pictures that will make me look beautiful. Do you understand? The focus is on the dress. Do you understand? So the poses of the model, whatsoever you're trying to do, it has to make sense. It has to appeal to the clients, to your potential clients. Do you understand? So then that's about doing a photo shoot. And this photo shoot is really important, because you can't just hang clothes on hanger and then, or maybe put it on a mannequin and then snap it in a certain. You might, if you are able to do that, then that's fine, because there are a lot of these thrift stores that maybe place the clothes on a table and then they shape it in a certain way, and it still sort of like looks appealing. So if you can do that, then fine. But it just might be good. It might just be better to do excuse me, a professional photo shoot. Do you understand? So after that, the next step, guys, is to sell. Guys, this stage is so important, because every other thing that you've done in the previous stage, if you don't market this outfit, put yourself out there, put the goods out there consistently, be in people's face, oh my guys, you're still going to be tying down money. Do you understand? So this stage is really important. I've worked with a couple of fashion houses, and they just have like starches and starches of clothes that they are not marketing and they are not selling, and it's just a complete waste, because I look at a lot of the outfits and they're really nice. They're really nice designs that I feel that if they put out there, they would sell fast. So I think one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a case study of brands that have excellent marketing strategy. This is fashion brands that have excellent marketing strategies that you can, just take a leaf from or just emulate, and all of that. So if you want to see that, ensure that you subscribe to this channel. If at this point you haven't subscribed, like seriously, after all of this talk, like, so guys, please ensure that you subscribe. And if you found this video helpful, ensure that you like the video. And if you have comments, or if you are someone who supplies services in this whole sort of like in this whole production chain, please drop a comment in comment section, so that people who are looking to release a collection can just contact you directly, because literally in this industry we're always looking for each other. Then again, I've gotten a lot of requests for tailors. So if you're a tailor and you are looking for a job, please drop a comment in the comment section, because there are fashion houses who at this time need to employ new staff. It's a new year, we're trying to create new collections and all that, so they need to employ new staff, and all that. So if you are in this whole supply chain, please drop a comment in the comment section, so that we can just reach out to each other directly. So guys, I think this would be all. Okay, so first off, so 2 things now. I just need to know this. I owe you a video on business plan for clothing line or for a ready-to-wear collection. And then I owe you a video on, what's the other thing I said I was going to? I said I was going to do sort of like a case study of brands that have like excellent marketing strategies that you could emulate. So I said I was going to do a video on that. And then I'm going to do a more detailed video on starting your pre-order or made-to-order ready-to-wear line, because this is really trending in Nigeria, and I've seen a couple of people ask a lot of questions, what sizes should I do, what size chart should I do, and all that. So I'm going to be doing a couple of videos around this topics. So guys, ensure that you subscribe, ensure that you like, and then leave a comment in the comment section if you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. Ciao. And if you need my services as a pattern maker, if you need my professional services, contact me on the numbers on the screen, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I look forward to working with you this year. Like, I look forward to helping you transform those amazing sketches that you've been making over the years to a profitable venture, guys. And I am so sure it will be so nice working with you guys. So ciao, and have a nice day. Ciao.